the 7 most nutrient-packed foods you should be incorporating into your daily routine. And on top of that, I'm going to share 3 bonus foods that will round out your entire nutritional intake. The vast majority of unhealthy foods out there cause a spike in your insulin levels. That condition, insulin resistance, is believed to be at the core of roughly 80% of all chronic illnesses we see today. In simpler terms, foods that help keep your insulin low are generally good for you, while foods that send your insulin through the roof are incredibly harmful. So, as you'll notice, one of the recurring themes throughout this list will be foods that do not trigger an insulin surge. All right. And to the best of my knowledge, there are no other foods that can even hold a candle to these 7, or should I say 10 foods once we include the bonuses. So let's kick things off with number 1, sauerkraut. Now, it's crucial that you get raw sauerkraut. Why? Because if you buy the kind sitting on a grocery store shelf, it's almost always pasteurized. That means it's been heated, and that heating process, pasteurization, destroys a key component in sauerkraut, the beneficial microbes. Did you know that sauerkraut is one of the most powerful probiotic foods on the planet? It's far superior to yogurt, far superior to kefir, and far more potent than most of the probiotic supplements you'd pick up at a supermarket. Just 1 cup of this fermented cabbage contains roughly 1.9 grams of net carbs. So it's extremely low in carbohydrates, it's packed with fiber, but also loaded with nutrition. Sauerkraut is actually the most vitamin C dense food in existence. In a single small cup, you're getting over 700 milligrams of vitamin C. That's 10 times the recommended daily allowance, all from just 1 little cup. It's also incredibly easy to digest. Many people who struggle with digestive issues, especially those dealing with ulcers or gastritis, find that they can consume sauerkraut without any trouble. Sauerkraut is also rich in a compound called glutamine, which actively helps heal the gut lining when there's inflammation present. Additionally, sauerkraut is packed with vitamin K2. Vitamin K2 plays a key role in removing calcium from the soft tissues of your body, including your arteries and the calcium that builds up in your joints. And interestingly enough, the microbes in sauerkraut are what produce this vitamin K2. Pretty amazing, right? Sauerkraut is also full of various phytonutrients. One of them is sulforaphane, which most people associate with broccoli or broccoli sprouts, but it's also found in other cruciferous vegetables like sauerkraut, since it's essentially cabbage. Sulforaphane has been studied not only for its anti-cancer properties, but also for its ability to help push a certain microbe called H. pylori into remission. That's the microbe responsible for ulcers. But the real heavyweight in sauerkraut is something called vitamin U. Its technical name is S-methylmethionine. This particular nutrient is phenomenal at healing ulcers. It's fantastic for reducing inflammation in the stomach. And if you have any type of ulcer, whether in your stomach, your small intestine, or your large intestine, it goes in, helps rebuild the mucus layer, and actually heals the ulcer. I recommend putting about half a cup or maybe even a full cup on your plate each day. That's all you need. All right, let's move on to number 2, arugula. Arugula is one of those vegetables that is naturally very low in oxalates. Oxalates can aggravate your joints and can even contribute to kidney stones. So, if you're concerned about kidney stones, arugula is a very safe choice. But the main reason you'll want to make arugula your go to salad green is what it does for the inside of your arteries. It's one of the top foods for providing the highest amount of nitric oxide. So, what exactly is nitric oxide? Nitric oxide is a special compound that helps dilate your arteries, keeping your blood pressure from climbing too high and protecting your arteries against inflammation. And I'm not just talking about circulation around your heart, I mean circulation throughout your entire body. So it's not only good for blood pressure, it's also beneficial for erectile dysfunction. And out of every food on the planet, arugula contains the most nitric oxide. Another cool thing about arugula is that it has anti-cancer properties since it's a cruciferous vegetable. And of course, I like to pour a generous amount of extra virgin olive oil over my arugula. Personally, I also add a little nutritional yeast because it gives it a subtle cheese-like flavor. Nutritional yeast also provides B vitamins and amino acids. So the reason I consume this combination is simple. It tastes great and it gives me more B vitamins, especially helpful for keeping stress levels low. Number 3, wild-caught salmon. Wild caught is essentially the equivalent of organic. You're getting something far superior to farm raised fish because farm raised salmon can sometimes contain antibiotics, certain additives you don't want, and they often have to add artificial pigments to make the flesh look pink. But when you eat wild caught salmon, it's incredibly healthy because the fish lived naturally in the wild. Just 3 ounces of salmon provides 2,000 milligrams of omega 3 fatty acids. Now, what exactly is an omega 3 fatty acid? It's a combination of two key components: DHA, which is excellent for building your brain and your retina, helping you see, and EPA, which is a powerful anti inflammatory. So, for anything related to ITIs, arthritis, bursitis, tendonitis, any kind of inflammation, you want more omega 3 fatty acids. Let's compare salmon to another fish, say cod. For 3 ounces, salmon gives you 2,000 milligrams of omega 3. Cod, on the other hand, gives you only 171 milligrams. And just to be clear, I'm not talking about cod liver oil, I'm talking about the actual codfish. Now, some people worry about mercury when they eat fish, but you don't need to worry with salmon because salmon is loaded with a mineral called selenium. Selenium binds to mercury and helps flush it out of your body, preventing it from building up. And later on this list, when I mention another food rich in selenium, it's going to blow your mind. One thing I always do with salmon is eat it with the skin on. The skin contains a ton of nutrients, especially right underneath it. You've got a lot of omega 3 fatty acids, plus other goodies like collagen. So I highly recommend eating salmon or other fatty fish at least a couple of times per week. Now, I mentioned cod earlier, but I didn't mention cod liver. So, what is cod liver? Cod liver is something you can buy in a can online through Amazon or elsewhere. You probably won't find it at your regular grocery store. Cod liver is, as the name suggests, the liver of the codfish. And cod liver is unique because out of all foods, including salmon, cod liver has the highest amount of omega 3 fatty acids. Omega 3 is incredibly important right now, not just for your heart, but also to drive down inflammation and counter all the high omega 6 fatty acids we get from seed oils. Omega 3 and omega 6 compete with each other. The majority of the population gets about 1/3 of their calories from seed oils, so we need a lot more omega 3 to create balance. When we talk about nutrient dense foods, yes, organ meats like liver are great. But a lot of people don't like organ meats, especially liver, myself included. Even though I know it's good for me and I want to like it, I just can't eat it. But I can eat cod liver. It has a pudding like texture. I like the texture and I like the taste. Now, there are some unique things about cod liver. First, it comes packed in cod liver oil, which is also very high in omega 3. But I wouldn't actually drink that oil. Your gallbladder will feel very heavy. So just eat the cod liver itself and don't drink the oil. If I compare cod liver to salmon, cod liver has significantly more omega 3 and is fattier. But that fat is extremely good for your brain, your nervous system, and your heart. And as a side note, the two things that do not increase insulin are fiber, which is in sauerkraut and arugula, and fat. So that includes fatty salmon and cod liver, both much fattier than lean fish. Several years ago, I made a video about canned products like this. At the time, I assumed, without testing, that heating these foods during the canning process would destroy the omega 3 fatty acids. That was just my assumption. I never tested it. So I made that video, but then I felt uneasy about it because I hadn't actually done a test. So I went to the grocery store, bought some canned tuna, some cod liver, and some canned sardines, and I sent them to a lab. I wanted to see if the test results matched what the labels claimed. When the report came back, I was shocked. Wow, I thought, it actually does contain the amount of omega 3s they say it does. So I deleted the original video, made a new one, and explained that the heat used in the canning process does not destroy the omega 3 fatty acids. Number 5, hamburger. This one probably surprises you, right? You're probably thinking of hamburger as junk food. And you think about going to McDonald's and buying a burger. That's not the kind I'm talking about. That fast food burger contains meat from maybe 200 or 300 different sources, and the quality isn't great. I'm talking about grass-fed hamburger. If you can find organic, even better. Grass-fed hamburger is not only easy to digest, but it also typically has a little more fat relative to protein. I would not buy the lean version. I'd buy the 80-20 blend, a bit fattier. Why? Because if you consume lean meat, you'll raise your insulin a bit more than if you eat meat with more fat alongside the protein. The same goes for eggs. If you eat only egg whites without the yolk, where the fat is, you'll get a higher insulin spike. In fact, out of all the protein sources you can eat, the one that ranks highest on the insulin scale is whey protein powder because it's extremely low in fat. There's no fat in whey protein, it's just pure protein. So, my recommendation is to consume protein along with the fat that naturally comes with it. Don't go extra lean or low fat. When you eat protein with its natural fat, it stays in your digestive system a bit longer, you get better absorption of the amino acids, and it doesn't pass through your body as quickly because it's less refined and more natural. I eat a lot of hamburger, without the bun, of course. It just makes me feel good. All that data you hear about red meat causing cancer or diabetes is utterly ridiculous. It's absolutely not true. In fact, I healed my own body on red meat. Red meat, especially from grass fed animals, is extremely high quality and highly bioavailable. Hamburger also contains many other nutrients, not to mention B vitamins, zinc, iron, and copper. It also has a compound called carnosine, which is an anti aging antioxidant that helps you live longer. Hamburger is also rich in creatine. People buy creatine powder all the time to increase muscle growth, but when you eat hamburger, you're getting about 350 milligrams of creatine per 100 grams. And hamburger provides the most bioavailable form of iron on earth. If you get iron from spinach, you won't even come close to the absorption you'd get from meat. Number 6, Brazil nuts. I don't recommend eating a lot, just one or two per day. What's so special about a Brazil nut? Out of every food on planet Earth, Brazil nuts contain the most selenium of any food. So, what's so special about selenium? First, it helps your thyroid. It helps convert T4 to T3, which is the active form of thyroid hormone. Many people with hypothyroidism don't actually lack iodine, they lack selenium. Selenium isn't very prevalent in soils anymore, and it's not in our food like it used to be. Many modern fertilizers prevent selenium from being absorbed by plants. And if it's not in the plants or the animals, it won't end up in our bodies. So if you suffer from a selenium deficiency, your thyroid will suffer first. But number 2, and this is huge, if you've seen my other videos, just pause and pay attention right now because this is the most important part of this entire presentation. What selenium does for your immune system is mind-blowing. Certain T cells, specifically the T helper cells, cannot function without selenium. T helper cells are like the command center of your immune system, the pentagon of your body's military. Without that high-level control to direct the troops to deliver specific weapons against pathogens, viruses, and cancer, you become very vulnerable and susceptible to conditions like AIDS, for example. AIDS is a condition where you essentially lose your immune system. Did you realize there's a massive correlation between selenium deficiency and susceptibility to AIDS? And there's also a lot of data showing that increasing selenium improves the complications of AIDS. One of the most common health issues on the planet right now is autoimmune diseases. There are many of them: Hashimoto's, lupus, rheumatoid arthritis, multiple sclerosis. People with these conditions are suffering from either a selenium deficiency or a vitamin D deficiency. The two work hand in hand. Many men and women with low selenium have problems with testosterone. And realize, if you're female, testosterone converts into estrogen. The estrogen you have comes from testosterone. Selenium also protects the ovaries, helping with fertility. It protects the testicles, allowing them to produce more mobile sperm. Selenium is also crucial for preventing hair loss. Think about a very common hair loss condition, alopecia. That's an autoimmune disease. Selenium can greatly help with that. Now, there is a risk of selenium toxicity if you eat, say, 20 Brazil nuts every day for months. So I'm only recommending 1 or 2 Brazil nuts per day. Number 7, extra virgin olive oil. First of all, it helps you extract many of the phytonutrients from the salad you put it on, whether you're using arugula, romaine, or other leafy greens. How do you know it's real extra virgin olive oil? You'll feel a slight tickling, biting sensation in the back of your throat. I consumed olive oil for years without knowing that because I was probably buying an adulterated version that wasn't the real thing. If you just buy cheap olive oil at the grocery store, there's a lot of corruption in the industry. They mix it with other oils. So you really need to find a good brand from Spain, Italy, or other countries. I consume a lot of olive oil. It's good for your heart. It's good for your cells. It works as an anti-inflammatory and an antioxidant, and its phytonutrients are 20 times more potent than those in green tea. It's also excellent for your mitochondria, the little energy factories inside your cells. It has anti-clotting properties. Realize this: 90% of heart attacks are related to a blood clot, not plaque buildup. The same goes for strokes. So, extra virgin olive oil is incredibly important to have in your diet. Now, let's move on to the bonus foods. Bonus number one: cheese. I'm talking about quality cheese, full fat cheese, raw cheese, aged cheese. Most of the cheese I consume is imported from another country, but that's not 100% necessary because there are some places in America doing it right. Cheese is a fermented product, so it contains beneficial microbes that are good for your gut. Cheese is also loaded with vitamin K2. In my view, vitamin K2 is an anti aging vitamin on steroids. It prevents calcium from building up in your soft tissues, your arteries, and also stops calcium from accumulating in your joints. As you know, as we get older, we calcify. We become very stiff, filled with calcium not only in our joints and arteries, but even in our eyes and other tissues. Another compound in cheese is CLA, conjugated linoleic acid, which is a fascinating compound that can help you burn more fat. So, cheese acts as a probiotic. It contains butyric acid, which feeds your colon cells. And because cheese is fermented, the fermentation process consumes most of the milk sugar, lactose, making it very low in carbohydrates. It's a high quality protein. Bonus number two: chocolate. Now, I'm not talking about Hershey's chocolate kisses. I'm talking about dark chocolate. You can also use cacao powder, mix it into something, and consume it that way. I do that as well, but sometimes I'll have 85% dark chocolate as a dessert with my first meal around lunchtime. I don't eat chocolate late at night because it contains certain stimulants, but what's in chocolate is amazing. It's loaded with polyphenols. It increases your nitric oxide, that same vasodilator compound that helps your circulation, just like arugula. The more I study dark chocolate, the more mind blown I am by all the different positive effects it has. Some people will say, don't eat dark chocolate because it's high in oxalates, and oxalates can lead to kidney stones. But chocolate is also loaded with a mineral that has a high affinity for those oxalates: magnesium. Magnesium can bind to oxalates and neutralize them. Magnesium is one of the master controllers of calcium, keeping calcium in check. Many people are deficient in magnesium. Magnesium helps your muscles, helps lower cortisol, improves your sleep, and helps create more energy in your mitochondria. A lot of people who think they're craving chocolate aren't actually craving chocolate. Your gut microbes are craving chocolate. They send signals to your brain saying, eat chocolate. Yes, there is a small amount of sugar, about 6 grams of net carbs, which is on the low side. If you're on a ketogenic diet, you want to stay below 50 grams, so an extra 6 isn't too bad. You could go for a walk and burn that off very easily. Bonus number 3: L. reuteri yogurt. Now, what is that? I'm going to put a video down below so you can learn how to make it. You'll need a yogurt maker. If you don't want to bother with that, you could just do Bulgarian yogurt, which is also pretty good. But there's something very special about L. reuteri yogurt that I want to explain. L. reuteri is a microbe that's missing in the general population. We just don't have it anymore, especially if you were never breastfed, and especially if you've taken antibiotics. It's such a key microbe because it helps increase muscle mass, improves your sleep, and helps increase a hormone called oxytocin. Oxytocin is one of the most powerful hormones for lowering cortisol and stress, and it enhances social bonding and positive social impulses. In the video I mentioned, I show you how to make it yourself. We make it and keep it in the fridge. When I first started making it and taking it, about a week later, my wife said, "What the heck has gotten into you?" I said, "What do you mean?" She said, "You want to hug me 5 times a day? You never want to hug me? What is wrong with you? Keep eating the yogurt." I said, "Okay, I will." Good thing my wife is around. But it's pretty wild. This L. reuteri actually creates that effect. Really, it's the microbe sending a signal through the vagus nerve all the way up to your brain, telling something in your brain to produce more oxytocin. It doesn't actually give you oxytocin directly. It triggers your body to make more. Isn't that wild? A lot of people have SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, where you get a lot of bloating in the small intestine. Many of the microbes that should be in the large intestine end up in the small intestine. Every time you eat, you feel really bloated. With L. reuteri yogurt, all you need is about half a cup per day. Most people are eating the opposite of these foods: refined foods, processed foods. I want you to eat these foods for just 7 days to prove it to yourself. You will feel the best you've ever felt just by trying this. So please comment below and tell me you're going to try this tomorrow because you'll need to prepare for it. Then come back in 7 days and tell me how you feel. Before I go, I want to give you my daily reboot routine, what I do every single day in a 1 page document. I am currently 60 years old, and I honestly feel like I'm 18. I am way healthier now than I was in my 30s, like by a factor of 10. Once you've done that, I have another video I want you to watch. And this one is on how to make that L. reuteri yogurt. For that information, watch this video right here.